Last week on Sailing Millennial Falcon, we sailed from St Thomas in USVI to nearby island St John. We checked out Cruise Bay before heading off for a fantastic day of freediving, snorkeling and exploring, before finally sailing on to Great Harbour in the island of Jost van Dyke in the BVIs. After a few attempts to anchor around a very empty mooring field in Great Harbour, we gave up and headed around the corner to White Bay, an idyllic crystal clear bay with some of the bluest water we've ever seen. We made a quick trip to immigration and then set about exploring the area.
So we swam ashore earlier this morning to go for a walk, and in the time we were away, the neighbourhood kind of filled up on us.
Now, party town. We popped into the Soggy Dollar to say hello and to suss out their prices, and he gave a good analogy for this place. It's like Disneyland. You don't really come here regularly, but it's alright for once off a holiday.
There you go.
Hey.
Ah, salty, yeah. Alright, I'll get the deck chairs, you get the beers. I'll go this way.
I'll go this way.
We've had a bit of a handyman morning, Khiara and I. Last night we were having a little sundowner on the front of the deck, and we discovered that our baby stay, the bottom of the turnbuckle, a bracket on the bottom of the turnbuckle has got a crack in it. So we had to slacken off the baby stay as loose as it'll go and try to reinforce it with the spinnaker halyard until we can replace that part. Unfortunately, in reinforcing the baby stay with the spinnaker halyard, we yanked the shackle out of the deck because of these cracked and frayed and rotted, what are they called, bub? What's that name?
I'm just going to say pulley plastic.
We keep looking up this name for the part, I forget what it is. The part which shall not be named. Anyway, we've been carrying the spares for a while, but they weren't quite broken enough to bother replacing. Anyway, the rope got jammed in the frayed part here and it ripped it out of the deck. This is the old spinnaker halyard block. So this morning we decided to get handy. We ripped out the roof lining. We took out the shackle that was unused on the other side that was still attached to its base plate, shifted it over here and replaced the frayed part which shall not be named with these replacement parts that we picked up for $20.
Oh
no, they're still expensive, but they're not the
most
$200
that
a brand new one of these with the base plate would be. It's not $200. It's a lot. It's $100+ for a new base plate and shackle. So we bought one of these, and what we did was we put it in the table vise, drilled out these little rivet lug thingos, and then once you drill out each of these, you can just get a tiny screwdriver and just tap out the centerpiece. Then the part which shall not be named. Yeah, so that's what the centerpiece shaft looks like, and then this runs on a bush or a forget the name of the bearing. It's just a bearing. Then you tap it out. You can remove the rubbish part which shall not be named and replace it with one of these. And then you just put a nylock nut. I don't have an example, but we had a nut and a bolt with a nylock nut that fits perfectly through that hole and through the old bearing, and pretty well replaced it as new. I put some thread locker in there for good measure, and she's running like a dream now. So hopefully we've solved that problem for a little while. We're well and truly overdue for a replacement of deck shackles, but we're not made of money, so we'll keep limping along our merry way until such time as we have to do it.
And then we'll address the...
And we will, yeah, obviously we don't fly the stay sail at all. We kind of keep it as a reserve for a storm sail, which we've obviously lost now that the baby stay is not structurally sound. Next port of call that we can get that part in, we will replace it, because I quite like having the ability to fly the stay sail when I want. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's like this little baby goat on the shoreline at Jost van Dyke. And this morning I woke up like jolted awake and started looking around, because I swear I could hear someone going, "Oi! Oi! Oi!" And I like got up and I saw the mast of the boat next to us. I was like, "Well, we're not dragging. Who are they yelling at?" And I could just hear, "Ah! Ah!" And it took me a bit longer than I'm prepared to admit to figure out that it's the freaking goat. And it's been going all morning. It's just going, "Ah!" I keep thinking someone's yelling and like is in peril. Just a cheeky little sod of a goat. This morning's journey is to go to Norman Island. Norman Island. It's going to be a little bit interesting because it's very deep water and it's mostly mooring balls, which we may just have to cop and just take one for the day and then move along. If we can't find some water shallow enough to anchor in with enough scope and clearance. Anyway, what's there is these awesome caves on Pioneer Point. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to subtitle it in. We're all snorkelers and divers, so we love caves. So we're going there to see the caves. Hopefully it should be some great footage and some pretty cool experiences for those who've not done it before. Khiara. So yeah, it's about 12 miles from here. Should be a lovely day sail. We're heading southeast from where we are, which is not ideal, but we can tack through the enclosed waters and just stretch old Millie's legs a little bit.
Apparently Norman Island is famous for its treasure. So it's the actual one island where they've known to, where the government or people, general public, have been known to have found treasure before. Where pirates have kept it there for safekeeping, and then general public's kind of come along. Obviously, like hundreds of years ago, the public came along and they found the treasure. Quite cool. Maybe we might find some treasure in the water. Stop laughing at me. Minutes after we've left, a nice little front's come through. Didn't see this one on the horizon.
32 knots out of nowhere. I'm so glad we took that reef when we saw the rain. Wow, that was good. That was a big old knockover. Not a knockover.
This is the damage already.
Yeah. Yep. Didn't need to ratchet them down a bit better in future. Yeah. Anyway, we did well. We had shortened all the sails when we had a feeling. And we were rewarded with not dying. I just really hope that Bright Eyes had the same. They're not answering their radio, so I hope they had the same judgment.
Yeah.
Their rig is a little bit more fragile than ours.
Aren't you glad that you put on all this sunscreen?
Oh yeah. Greasy.
Woo!
Sailing!
Woo! And the front's almost over.
And sunshine again, we're just washing down the decks. That's a good little practice run. We did well. We did really well. That was a good, good little vibe. You were, you were where I wasn't, and vice versa. Very good. That was good. Good job, team.
Good teamwork.
It was. So we got 20 knots on the beam. Doesn't get much better than that. Well, the mooring ball fees are extortionate, and most of the bays here are very deep water with very little room for scope. So it's quite challenging to get an anchor in without fouling up ground tackle for a mooring ball or being in a very precarious position. So fortunately the National Parks has day use moorings, which kind of gets you through the day, but you do need to plan your evenings very carefully. So the plan now is to go just outside the caves here on the National Park moorings to do our little exploration day and then move around to the next island. It's just on the other side of this hill. It's probably 4 miles away, where there's a nice bay that has sort of 10 feet of water, and we'll try to slot in there amongst what I assume will be lots of mooring balls.
Lani and I have left the boys at home and we are going on a little adventure around this cute little anchorage called, what's the anchorage called?
Well, it's Norman Island.
Norman Island.
So it's actually the island that Treasure Island was
Yes.
based off. So quite a bit of cool piratey history
Yeah.
here. So hopefully we're going to find some treasure.
Totally.
That's the number
I was
one
actually
goal
hoping that
this
we might
afternoon.
find something or like a little joke treasure box or something in the caves.
I was actually thinking, I was like, oh yeah, when we come back we'll hide some here.
So
Just
thought that
constantly looking
too.
for treasure in there.
So thought that too. Yeah, so we'll go on a nice little walk around the area.
You can't see. Damn. He's just having a moment.
He's totally having a Titanic moment down there and I'm wrecking it.
Just gazing off.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's just getting hungry.
oh yeah, nice.